Hey kids, give me a second here to get my chat pulled up. As you can see, I'm once again trying to refigure this situation to get this work better. There we go. All right, now we are together. Give a moment for folks to wander in. See if there's anybody out there who wants to do a live stream today. With Irma going on, kind of a tough time. Hey, good evening, Martin. How are you, sir? How are things over there on the other side of the pond? Looks like we're in for some windy times here in the east coast of America. Hello, Cam. Hey, Simon. Hey, Lucky Vapes. How are you? How's everybody doing today? I hope you guys are staying safe. Hello, Austin. Doing great. Good to hear. Good to hear. Hey, Jeff. Doing good, Lucky Vapes. Hey, Jared Coleman. Morning. How are you? Welcome, everybody. I've been watching Vent You Sky all day. Yeah, Simon, it is pretty scary stuff, isn't it? Nice and sunny here in Miami now. Yeah, enjoy it while you can, Jeff. If I was you, I'd be getting the hell out of Dodge. Hello from Finland. Welcome. Island and Cosmos. I like that name. Hey, Michelle. How are you doing? Talked to Alberto and Puri. They're doing okay right now. Good to know, Kim. Yeah, I was kind of worried about them. Hey, Michael. How's things in Italy? Irma's a bad. Yeah, she certainly is, isn't she? She is going to be nasty. I'm getting out my kites. Should be lots of wind. Yeah, right? So Richard Branson is on his island of BVIs, apparently in his wine cellar. Yeah, that'd probably be a good place for him to be. The BVIs is getting hit right about now. The last I saw of the storm, it had pretty much trashed Barbuda and St. Martin's. And in fact, I'm going to put a link up here. There's some people out with a sailing cruising channel that did a little video just recently called, the name of their channel is Sailing Mischief. I don't know if you guys saw that, but whoop, hold on a minute. Grandpa's skills aren't the best here. They just did an interesting video. Here's a link to a video they just did. You might want to check that out after the live stream. Pretty scary stuff. They are in St. Martin, and looking at what happened in St. Martin, I think their boat's probably been destroyed. I keep watching webcams and they keep getting destroyed. Yeah, the webcams are. Lily, go lay down. Yeah, I watched a couple webcams too get destroyed. You know, you watch them for so long, and then all of a sudden it goes over, or a building. I saw one with a building rolled past it, which was pretty wild. So, some pretty nasty stuff. Yeah, in Anaka Films, I kind of agree with you. I'm not sure what the deal is there, but Bob doesn't seem to care too much about it. So, you know, I'm not going to be held responsible. The deal between me and Bob has been from the very beginning that once I sell the farm, then I'd be able to buy the boat. It was contingent on the sale of the farm, and that didn't go through. So, hey, Jackson. At work. Okay, well, don't get caught by the boss, man. Hey Dave, how's things in Ireland? Bob's boat's now $10. Yeah. Yeah, I hope the rough seas survives, but to be honest with you, the way he left the boat at the marina, I really have some serious doubts. Bob left the sails on the boat. He left the dinghy in the water with the dinghy engine still on and in the water. He left the boat unlocked. I mean, anybody could walk over to it and open up and get inside the boat and do whatever they wanted to. I'm surprised the boat hasn't been stripped already. So he did not seem like he was at all concerned that it was hurricane season in the Caribbean, which is unfortunate, which is very unfortunate. So, you know, I guess sometimes they say that God protects fools. Well, in this case, it certainly helped me. Lily keeps walking over and dropping her tennis ball on my lap. She wants me to throw the tennis ball for her. Go lay down. Go lay down. Anyhow, Well, thanks, Sanak. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't think it's my responsibility. I feel bad about having not bought the boat. I did everything I possibly could to buy it, but it was just beyond my control. So, hey, Captain Catfish, how you doing? Hey, Akula, how's everybody? Hey, Bob. It's Bob's here, guys. Sailing Doodles in the house. It's a secure marina with locks and guards. I have people watching it. I appreciate the negative comments. Now, Bob, I'm not being negative. I'm just being real, man. I'm not trying to beat you up any. I'm just expressing my concerns and hoping to educate people that, you know, if you're leaving a boat in hurricane season, you might want to strip the sails off and secure it. So I know you have someone watching it, but this is hurricane season, so... and you know, I'm going to touch base on that a little bit, Bob. I'm going to expand on that. You know, I see a lot of these channels, well, just like Sailing Mischief, and a whole lot of people that have their boats up on the Heart, even in Florida. Guys, this is hurricane season, and you know, as a captain, it's your responsibility to take care of the safety of your crew and your boat. And you know, I really think that you need to make sure you get those out of harm's way. So. You know, Bob, I wasn't trying to give you negative comments. I'm just keeping it real. You know, I'm hoping that other people watching this that have a boat will realize that, you know, you need to secure things. That's all I was trying to do. Sold it for $300? Okay, well, that's unfortunate. Huh. You saying 300 or 30,000? It only shows 300 on there. And if that's the case, good. Frankly, Bob, as I've told you many times, I thought the best thing for you to do would have been to go back down to the boat and continue shooting your show. I think you really had some good momentum up and building with the channel. And I think you lost a lot of that doing the whole, break that you did. But, you know, that was your decision to do. I think you guys would have been well further ahead, and I would like to see you back on the boat out sailing again. Oh, and I think I'm not alone in saying I think you should be back out on the boat sailing or on some boat sailing. So, oh, 300 was for the car, I see. Or the truck, one of the two. I didn't know if he was selling the car. I thought Bob was selling the truck. So, I actually have family in Florida. They're going to be evacuated tonight. Yeah, all of my friends... Yeah, Bob, I know you just reached 50,000 subs. I've been following, but you and I both know that Patreon numbers dropped a little bit, and 50,000 subs, you should have been there, you know, you could have been there a couple weeks ago. I know you're still going forward, but I don't think you're going as forward as you could have been. Okay. Well, Bob, it's just, you know, what we're kind of seeing. I think you guys could have grown a whole lot faster. Frankly, I thought you should have been up around 100,000 subs by now. And I think that's what people are referring to. I'm sorry if you're upset by that, but I think that's what people are referring to. People just want the best for you, Bob. You know, that's what I have nothing but good wishes for you. So, all right, well, we'll see you later, Bob. Sorry you're upset. Okay, well, anyhow, Keith, my day's been going fine. The dog keeps wanting me to throw her tennis ball for her. She just caught it. Come on, get. So, yeah, John, it's hard to create sailing content when you're at Burning Man. But, you know, that's, you know, everyone that has a sailing channel, or, you know, you've got to do your own thing. Everybody's got to do their own thing. You know, my opinion is Bob should be out sailing. He was building a good channel there, and, you know, I think he's lost some of that sailing momentum. Maybe he's getting more views, but I think he's getting some of the other stuff. So, oh, the drama. I agree, Danny. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. Let's go back to what we were talking about first place, and that was Irma, because that's kind of what I was hoping to discuss a little bit today. So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Irma and the storm, guys. I put up a resource, and that was the Vent You Sky. I don't know how many of you guys saw that. let me put it up here for you guys that didn't catch that video. There's internet service called VentuSky, website, what have you, and it does some. Oh, come on. Okay, I did something wrong. Hold on, Grandpa's an idiot. Control copy and control paste. There we go. Finally got it up there. Hey Grizz, how you doing? I've been having a real problem. I don't know if any of you guys been having this problem on the chat, but sometimes I have to click my mouse off the chat and then come back in order to say something. If I try to type for some reason, it's not working. I don't know if it's a problem with YouTube's chat or just my computer, but sometimes when I try to type something into the chat, it won't type. I got to click outside the screen and then come back to it, and then it'll. I don't know if any of you guys are having that same problem. So, anyhow, we digress. Lily, go lay down. Go lay down. Anyhow, I put that program up there so that Grizz, it does that to you too. Also over here. Okay, Martin, you have the same problem. So it must be some kind of a glitch then on YouTube then. Because Martin's over in Europe and Grizz is in Oregon and I'm up here in Alaska. Yep, same here from time. Okay, so it's not me or my computer. It's just some issue. Well, hopefully YouTube will fix whatever problem that is. Anyhow, I put that program up because it's a really good program and it's a nice modeling program that you can use for passage making or if you're going to go sailing. So you can kind of check wind speeds and see what's going on and kind of get an idea. Now, what was pointed out to me was that there are, this wind speed shown in there are much smaller than what is being reported. And that may very well be true. Again, it's a modeling software. It's not necessarily, this is what's actually happening in the history. It's just a modeling software of what they project going to be happening. The severity of things obviously can change. And that's kind of the point, guys. That's one of the points I was trying to make. There can be problems with a lot of this, whether you're using apps like Windy, whether you're on NOAA's app where they're doing projections. Just because they say things are going to be this, that, or the other thing, you've really got to assume worst case scenario and plan accordingly. So, hey Coyote Pete, how you doing? Hey Maui Lay, how you doing, man? How is things in Virginia? People are preparing. Yeah, it looks like the last model I looked at. Hey Tom, how's things in Norway? Last model I looked at, it did show that the storm was going to be going north. So, clipping pretty bad. Clipping pretty bad. Honeybees, you're having problems receiving? Try refreshing because the setup I'm using right now, I'm actually broadcasting on my cell phone. And then I'm watching it on my computer so I can read the chat because I can't read the chat and interact too well with the cell phone. So, yeah, St. Thomas is about to be destroyed. St. Martin got hit. 215 mile an hour winds. Wow. Try change it to wind gusts. That will show you the real deal. Yeah, Martin, not just look at the wind gusts, but also look at the wave heights. The wave heights are the thing that I find the scariest. So, solar flare hitting next 2 days. Well, maybe. Yeah, the video quality is much better on my cell phone. It definitely has a better camera and can upload a better quality of video. You guys are probably getting it at maybe as high as 720, which is awesome. But my internet provider up here in Alaska just doesn't provide that good of a channel. Okay, Kennel. You gotta leave me alone so I can do my thing here. Anyhow. Well, with respect, Carl, we were all sticking with your channel in spite of a delay in you going sailing for an as yet determined length. And I don't know how long that determined length is going to be. Obviously, I've got to find a new buyer for my farm. I do have a lot of sailing-related content I'll be putting up. So I'm going to try to provide some good information, but we'll go from there. Yeah, Chris, that was another one I was going to put up for those people that haven't seen it. There's a website called, there's a bar in the British Virgin Islands called the Soggy Dollar Bar. And the Soggy Dollar Bar maintains a webcam, so you might want to check out their webcam. It's pretty cool. I'll put the link to that. Yep, see there, I'm having that problem again. I'll put the link to that. There you go. So you might check that out. It shows, it's at the Soggy Dollar Bar, which is in Joost Van Dyke. The camera is aimed south, so it gets you an idea of what they were doing. Yeah, Danny, exactly. 50-foot waves in open water. Now, as that comes near the shore, that can wipe out some places. I mean, that's actually, to me, the scariest thing is those wave heights. Oh, chat's already getting ahead of me, so predict wind, Don, is another great one, and it gives you a bunch of different models as well. But it seems to me all the models that I've been looking at, none of them are showing wind speeds or predicting wind speeds like we're actually having. Soggy Dollars offline. Wow, I've never seen them offline before. I guess they may have lost power. It wouldn't surprise me that Yost lost power. Carolina Beach, North Carolina. Also, yeah, if you're on a 30-foot boat in Carolina, I'd be heading north as fast as I could go. I really would. I'd be running up as far north. I mean, Maine would not be out of the question if it was up to me. So I'm watching Soggy Dollars You Can live on YouTube now. Okay, so it is live. Okay. Yeah, Grizz brings up an interesting point, is that a 50-foot wave can actually be 100 feet because they reach down into the water as well. And as they roll up on the shore, they grow quite a bit. What happens if you're sailing and you die? You sink. I mean, if you're out sailing and you run into a hurricane with 50-foot waves, you're not going to survive that. I mean, this is why we have all this technology while it's all being developed. This is why we're looking at so many different modeling programs now for being able to predict weather. Weather and hurricane predictions is woefully underfunded right now, guys. This is an area we need to invest a whole lot more money into so we can do a better job of trying to predict these things and how they're happening and track them and have better warning for people. I mean, fact is, right now, it is a whole lot better than anything that it has been in the past. But it's not nearly as good as it could be. So, greetings from Manitoba. Hey, Jam. They got it back up, was off right when you start. Huh, okay. Yeah, Sailing Mischief. I just put a link to that up there just a moment ago, so you can check that out. So, okay. Read by Mercy of the Sea by John. Yeah, Kretschmer is a good author. Lots of good information there. Rhonda is on it already. Actually, Rhonda's not with us this morning. That was me doing that. Rhonda is not in this morning, so I don't know why, but she's not. So it is what it is. Oh, the biggest. Oh, Brad, I'm a wimp. I avoid big wind and big weather. If it's blowing out there, I don't go out. 8, 9 foot waves, 10-foot waves. Actually, when I was a kid, young guy, growing up on Long Island, I used to take my 16-foot boat offshore, my little power boat, and I would go out in much bigger seas than I've ever been out in a sailboat. I try to be smart enough to stay out of weather like that. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Wrench Shayla. I did wrench Shayla, I believe. So, one of the things I want to touch base on is that wave height. One of the places it's hitting right now as we speak is Anegada. Anegada is a lovely little island in the British Virgin Islands. It's an island kind of away from all the rest of them. And unlike the rest of the islands, which are volcanic, so they're very tall, pointy mountains, Anegada is very low lying. In fact, I understand the highest point on Anegada is like 25 feet above the sea level. If you have an island that's only 25 feet above sea level and there's 50-foot waves blowing by, guess what, guys? That island is going to be completely devastated. Everything on there is going to be just wiped out. So it's sad because, you know, on Anegada, it's a lovely little island. I've had some really good memories there. Great time hanging out at Loblolly Beach on the North Shore and having a lobster dinner there at the Anegada Reef Hotel. And hey, last nice guy, how you doing? Anyhow, it's a real cool place, and I have some good memories from there. And it's sad to think that that place is now gone, or will be. I really doubt hardly anything on that island could survive from what I've seen going through there. So, hey, Cam, take care. So I wanted to provide some tools for you, which is why I shared, like, you know, the webcam and VentuSky. It's a little different program than Predict Wind or Windy or some of the other apps you can get on your cell phone. It took a direct hit. Wonder if it still exists. Yeah, I don't know, and we're not going to know for a while. And then, of course, the other problem we have is you've got Jose coming in right behind. Jose, if you're not aware of, is another hurricane. Well, I'm sorry, tropical storm at this point, but about to be upgraded to a hurricane, and that's coming in just right behind. So any rescue efforts or any repairs that are going to start happening on the islands are immediately going to be hit with another tropical storm right behind them. So that's really going to hamper rescue efforts. So it's going to be really ugly. It's going to be real ugly. Hey, everybody, you just subbed. Well, thank you, and welcome to the farm. I appreciate that. PassageWeather.com is a decent one. Yes, Passage Weather is a very good, decent one, David. You are absolutely correct. But all of the models that I've been looking at, you know, all of them are not showing the wave, the wind speeds that's being reported by some. So I don't know what that means. Where Bob's boat is moored and it might be exposed to serious storm surge. Yeah, anything down along the coast is going to be hit with some serious storm surge. Absolutely anything. So, Spanish Isles in the eye right now. Spanish Isles. You mean the Spanish Virgin Islands? Is that what you're referring to, Danny? I'm not sure. I've seen 225. Yeah, and that brings up another point, last nice guy. There's been some discussion in the chat on my channel in the comments about the category ratings of storms. Currently, right now, we have the Saffir scale that is just categories 1 through 5. There's been a lot of research been going on now for, well, really since 2005 when we had 5 category 5 storms hit the U.S. There's been a lot of conversation going on and changing that and trying to step that up and have a different system for categorizing them, because currently category 5 is anything over 187 miles an hour, I think, or maybe I don't have those numbers correct on top of my head. Anyhow, but we're seeing a lot of storms now with wind speeds well in excess of that. In fact, there was a typhoon off the coast of Australia a couple years ago where they actually measured 405 mile per hour winds. 405 mile per hour winds. Now, traditionally, when we developed the category 1 through 5 systems, which has been, decades ago now, we didn't have the technology to be able to read those wind speeds, so we didn't really know how fast the wind was blowing. We just don't have gauges that would go that high. Now, with technology being what it is, they can collect data, extrapolate it, and get something fairly close, but I think we really need to relook at that, and there's some pressure going on through NOAA and others to try to develop Category 6, Category 7 type technology so we can start getting a better address on those. So, just west of the British. Okay, so you're talking about the Spanish Virgins. Okay, yep. Culebra in that area, yep. Is it too late to get her out to safety in the Gulf? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's way too late. She should have been moved 5 days ago. Any words selling mischief? No, I just put a link up on them. They're in St. Martin. I can't imagine that their boat is anything but toast, unfortunately, Matthew. St. Martin's getting hit really bad right now. From what I can see, they're getting hit with like 150 to 180 mile an hour winds. Pretty much going to tear up everything. So, windy.com, very similar to Vent Sky. Yeah, David, I think they actually use the same source. I mean, they're too similar for them not to just be using the same source. So, how do you get live sat coverage? Don B, how do you get live sat coverage? Okay. Do you see a meteor hit? Did you see a meteor hit Idaho? No, I did not. Frankly, I've been distracted following the storm. Well, that's going to happen. I didn't. I'll have to do some research on that. Bob and Deb in Tampa Bay. Man, guys, get the hell out of there. Go north. Now is a great time to go catch a show in Nashville, guys. Big difference between winds aloft and on the surface. Certainly is. True that most insurance companies require you to move your boat out of certain areas during hurricane season. Catfish, you bring up a really good point and something we probably should discuss. Yes, insurance companies will not cover you for a named storm. Just that simple. The best thing you can do to protect yourself from a hurricane is simply not be there. And that was something I was trying to get into earlier, but we kind of got distracted with the chat. But as a boat owner, people ask, well, what's the worst wind I've been in? Not very big. And the reason for that is I move myself out of the area. The best way to not hit big storms is don't be where storms are. At this point, we know it's hurricane season in the Caribbean. Get the hell out of Dodge. Take your boat, go over to the Mediterranean. Take your boat, go down to Panama. Go down and spend some time with the Kuna Indian tribes there in South Panama. Great place to spend a little time. Go up the Rio. Spend some time along the north coast of South America. There are places you can go to get out of the paths of where hurricanes travel. So the best thing you can do is to be in those places. Just get someplace where you don't have to worry about that. So, goodbye, Pro Gamer. Idaho Hillbilly put out a video showing the meteor hit Idaho. Wow, that's cool, Grizz. Hurricane Irma is void of ships on marine traffic, boats heading in all different directions, as indicated by... Yeah, everyone's getting the hell out of Dodge, Dave. I mean, you move away from it. Even the big commercial ships move away from it. So, go to the Canary Islands. You could go to the Canary Islands. Sure, cross the ocean. Oh, he's out of there. That's right, Martin. Okay. Hey, Buccaneer, how you doing? Yeah, so the smartest thing you can do in case of a hurricane is simply don't be there. There's a group called the ARC, Atlantic Rally for Cruisers, I think is what the acronym means. And what that means is that people that have their boats in the Caribbean, they all get together as a group and they meet at I think they typically meet at Nanny Key Marina on Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. All the boats will meet there, and then in mass, as one group, they all sail over to the Mediterranean. Sometimes 200, 300 boats at a time. There's a website for the ARC. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I guess I could find that. Atlantic Rally for Cruisers. It's the World Sailing Club, I think, is the group that does it. Here we go. And copy that. Go back here to the chat. Well, let me do it. There we go. Yeah, the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers. So what this is a bunch of people that get together and they all sail from the Caribbean over to the Mediterranean, moving their boats away from hurricane season. And then they spend the summer over in the Mediterranean. At the end of the summer, the Atlantic Rally for Cruisers, gets another group of boats together, usually in the Cape Verde Islands, and then they all sail from the Med back over to the Caribbean. And then everyone's back in the Caribbean for the winter time. So they avoid hurricane season that way. They avoid the cold in the Mediterranean in the wintertime, and they avoid hurricane seasons in the Caribbean during the summertime. This is a classic movement, migration, if you will, that most of the smart boat owners do. They move their boat out of danger. So, yeah, Wing and Tracy, I'm afraid that Bob's boat is in harm's way. I don't know if it's going to be screwed or not. Frankly, Bob should have moved the boat. It's just, I mean, he knew that my being able to buy it was predicated upon me being able to sell the farm. Obviously, I'm still here in Alaska. My farm didn't sell. I wasn't able to buy the boat. It's still his boat. He owns it. He should have moved it. So, and he didn't. So there's no other option there. I know he's very upset about that, and he thinks I'm talking bad about him for bringing that up, but that's the reality of it. And, frankly, as a YouTube creator, I feel an obligation to you guys to kind of give you the down low and the honest opinion of what things are. I shoot from the hip. Anybody that knows me is I don't pull any punches and I just lay it out there. Hurricane season, you get your boat the hell out of Dodge. So, Hole Shot, the Rough Seas, is at a marina on the very north shore. It's in San Juan, Puerto Rico, on the very north shore of Puerto Rico. No, should not have left the dinghy in the water, and shouldn't have left the outboard in the water. Having the outboard in the water also bothers me because there's a lot of electrolysis in a marina. For those of you guys new to sailing, quite often all the boats in marinas are usually plugged in, and there's electrical lines in the docks and stuff. Quite often these will bleed into the water, and you'll have a lot of electric current in the water. One of the reasons why everyone says don't ever swim in the marinas, because you can actually die from electrocution. It's very common. But what happens with boats is they get electrolysis. You probably noticed a lot of boats putting zincs, these little pieces of metal on parts of their boats to protect it from electrolysis. Anyhow, that's something that I would be concerned about because the outboard was actually in the water. So he was waiting on you, Grandpa, and it's not all Bob's fault. Keith, he left the boat there long before he and I were talking about me buying it. And certainly had an opportunity to go back and get it. So it's Bob's boat. I'm going to disagree with you there, Keith. It's Bob's boat. It's Bob's boat. It's Bob's responsibility. So desert party versus move boat. Yeah, he wanted to go to Burning Man instead. So Wing or Tracy might be okay depending on how the storm tracks through the area. Yeah, right now, actually, Don, you bring up a pretty interesting point. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? The last track I saw, it looked like the storm was actually going to pivot and head a little bit north. It actually went further south. I was surprised to see where it was this morning because it actually had showed last night that it was going to go a little bit further north. Instead, it came a little bit further south and ran right through is running right through the center of the Virgin Islands. So, kind of scary, actually. So, hey, Marco, how you doing? No, Jared, actually, that's what the corrosion is. That straight current is what causes the electrolysis that creates that corrosion. That's what the zincs do, Jared. Is Bob the dude with the clickbait girls and bikini videos? Selling doodles, if that's what you're referring to. Patronos 18. Now that we bring Bob up again, I do need to say that he didn't win any points with me for moaning around here in the room. Let's just move on. Bob's having a really rough time right now. Hey, I've been a big fan of Bob's. I still am. I wish Bob all the best. I really do. But, you got to call out sometimes. You got to call out things, and I just think that, keeping it real, you got to call what it is as it is. So I can't blame Bob right now for his behavior because Bob's really kind of upset. He's had a hell of a run of bad luck recently right now. And got to see he's got to do what he's got to do. He's got to get motivated and get going. So you don't think Bob's going to be sailing much? I don't know. I hope so because he had a great channel. You know, he's doing some great job and he's built a really nice channel. Sailing Doodles is an awesome channel. He was putting out some really great content. And then he just sort of veered off from that. And so TV just showed start of a hit on Puerto Rico. Yeah, Puerto Rico is going to start getting trashed all this whole morning and into this evening. Although I think what I just saw recently is that it looks like the storm's going to move north. I think the storm's going to move north and away from Puerto Rico. At least I hope that's the case. So. No, Keith, I agree with you. Bob's enjoying life. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. He's enjoying life, but being a sailor and a boat lover, I just hate seeing boats get destroyed. And I see this all the time. It's not just Bob. It's not just Bob. You see this all the time. You go to a marina and there'll be, 300 boats. And I know, like, when I kept my boat in Seattle, I used to have a Cal 30 that I kept in Shoal Marina in Seattle. And it always bothered me that, I would go down there, and I lived in Montana, guys. I didn't live in Seattle. I lived in Montana. I drove a full day's drive to Seattle so I could go take my boat out for a couple days. And yet there were people that lived right there in Seattle. The boat's tied up right next to me. They wouldn't get on their boat once during the whole season. They're spending $300-400 a month for their slip there at the marina. They keep their boat there. They never take it out. For the entire time that I was there at Shoal, there was probably 50 boats on my slip, on my dock that never took their boat out. And it just frustrating to me. I mean, didn't come down, check on the boat, nothing. They just were never around. Never even met the people that own the boats on some of them. So, hey, Grizz, take care if you're leaving. Is that what that means? Bob needs to put Sailing Doodles back into sailing before he loses a few people. I agree, Jim. And doing warning people about the storm. Friedrich, I've been trying to, and actually I've actually caught some hell. There's actually one guy that put a comment on my channels that, I shouldn't be talking about this stuff, but I've seen too many people, especially like in Florida, that, think it's, this is a party, it's a reason to get drunk because there's a storm coming, and it's a reason to get the hell out of Florida. You've seen, as old as I am, I've seen too many things get destroyed, too many people die. I take hurricanes seriously. So if you want to call me a worrywart or a wimp or what have you, I take hurricanes seriously. They do billions of dollars worth of damage and lots of loss of life. So can't lose the slip. Yeah, I guess maybe, Harley, they're keeping the boat there just to keep the slip. I don't know. I've seen some awful nice boats. In fact, there was what's the name, Brand? Right next to my boat, there was a $200,000 sailboat tied up in the slip next to me, and the people never would go down and go on it. I mean, I never saw it go out, so it just sat there, and that's criminal to me. As a diver, what do you think about having 12-volt hookah equipment instead of regular compressor and bottles? Tom, I think compressor and bottles is the way to go. You're really tied up on the hookah, and they can be dangerous because you're trailing that line behind you that can get caught up and stuff. So I'm not a big fan of hookahs. They're fine for cleaning the bottom or something, but they're not really safe in my mind, and you're really limited. So. Anyone looking at the farm this week? Yeah, a whole shot. Actually, we did. We had some people down this weekend. I had some more calls yesterday. Nothing today, obviously. It's just 9:41 in the morning here, but yeah, we've had some interest and stuff. Actually, I had an appraiser call me yesterday. He and I had a good conversation about the property. So I don't know. I'm doing everything I can. I've been promoting it and advertising it, marketing it. So we'll see. So, well, Jeff, I'm glad I provided some good information. Thanks. Why are you telling Jeff to get out? That makes no sense. More money than sense. Yeah, a lot of people have more money than sense. Not down to wish to. Well, Boy Scout motto: always be prepared. There you go. My house is good for Cat 4. Past that, I'm heading to see the mouse in Orlando. There you go, Jeff. It's a good idea. I don't even know if Orlando is going to be safe though. They're going to certainly get a lot of rain. So, yeah, Kyle, I'm hearing all kinds of wind speeds. They're kind of all over the place. So far, all the models that I've been watching aren't really showing that kind of speed, but you never know. Don't know how accurate the windy side is, but seems to be going north as you hoped. Yeah, all the models are showing a slight move to the north right now. But I think that might be short-lived. So, hey, how's it from Cape Town, South Africa? Hey, Andrew, how you doing? Welcome. West side is the best side to be on. The west side of Florida? Is that what you're talking about, Akula? Yeah, I don't know. You know, it was sort of odd. You know, these models are always back and forth, but there was one model that actually showed the hurricane going right through the Florida Keys and into the Gulf. And I hope that doesn't happen because after the last hurricane, they can't really deal with another one in there just now. But, I mean, there's really no such thing as good direction for a hurricane unless it goes back out to sea. But moving north, yeah, ports will fill up quickly, have to move on, get left out. Yeah, actually, home place, it's interesting that you said that. The channel sailboat story, the young couple with their daughter were just talking on Facebook today that they have their boat up on or in the water in a marina on the east coast of Florida, and they're trying to get their marina to pull their boat and put it up on the hard, and the marina's already told them they won't have time. They don't have time to do it. They've got too many boats already in line waiting to get pulled out. They're not going to get them all pulled out fast enough. So, Martin, you're safe in Germany. You certainly are. Oh, man, I got to get something to drink. Good old-fashioned water. Anyone know where... I don't know where they're flagged, no. I know they're in St. Martin, but I don't know what the status of them are and their boat is. They put a live thing up just a little bit ago, and then it got cut off right in the middle, which was kind of scary, and we've not heard anything else since, so... Just looked at it, doesn't look bad at all. Well, Chris, it hasn't gotten there yet. So it's still over St. Martin and that area yet. It's still 100 miles away from the Virgin Islands. So thanks, Buccaneer. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, give us a big thumbs up. I would appreciate it. So you watch my old shows. Well, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Oh, I'd much rather be in the water someplace else other than where a storm is. But if a storm's coming, it's better to be out of the water up on the hard. But it depends on where you're out of the water. So, okay, Tactic 9. Don't need that. I heard Irma, largest recorded hurricane in the Atlantic. Harley Hub, that is what I'm hearing too, that Irma is the largest storm that we've seen in the Atlantic so far. So, well, you know, Jason, that's actually a problem being on the hard. What a lot of the marinas will do is they actually will have, like Nanny Key Marina in the British Virgin Islands. They actually go and pour like a concrete footer like a house would sit on, and secure that in the ground, and then from there they put strapping over the top of the boat and literally strap it down inside of that little bit of a protected area. So if you're in a marina like that one, obviously, I mean, those are called hurricane ties. They're set up for that. So, Chris, I no longer have any livestock. I've gotten rid of everything here on the farm in preparation for selling the farm. So, hey, King of Chuck, how you doing? Dick's in Germany too. Yep, the Germans are coming. Yeah, das ist sehr gut. Oh damn, I'm a Dutch guy. Uh-oh. Any feedback on the farm viewings at the weekend? No, Simon, no feedback. I did call one couple that came and looked at it. They were a little cryptic. I talked to the husband, and it's the wife that was really the one doing everything. So I don't know. I've been trying to follow up, but, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be. Someone's going to come and buy the property, and at the price that I have it at right now, I mean, I'm selling it basically at fire sale price, so I'm hoping someone will come along pretty quickly. But again, we don't live in a high transaction environment up here in Alaska. Where I'm located is pretty remote. There's just not a lot of people looking to come up here and buy property, so it's going to take as long as it's going to take. That's all I can tell you. It's going to take as long as it's going to take. Insurance companies will pay 50% of cost to put on the hard. Huh, I didn't know that, Akula. Yeah, it would make sense for them because it's protecting the insurance company as well. So why not have them sharing that expense? That would make sense. So, are you taking that? Well, thank you, Simon. Appreciate it. That shag rug with you. Actually, Chris, that's not a shag rug. That's a blankie, and it's you see it on the other side. It's a blankie that I got at West Marine, and I actually put it up to just do as a backdrop. So I could have, have that serious backdrop for when I do some videos. But right now, it doesn't, it's just there. I just left it up. I probably should have taken it down just to have a more professional looking background for my videos. Because see, well, here, let me unplug and I'll show you what I'm talking about. When I do my videos, I can do them like this and have, a professional, anyhow. That was kind of what that's for. It's not working out very well. So, I need a bigger one. Or a smaller head. Hey, Steve, how is things in Dubai? I want to trade some of that nice, cool Alaskan weather. Hey, you're welcome to it, Steve. Cold, wet, rainy, and 42 this morning here. 47 degrees outside right now, so... Hey, Donald. My sweet blankie. It's my blankie, man. Which YouTube sailors are in the Caribbean now? The foolish ones are. All the foolish ones are in the Caribbean right now. There's a bunch, actually. Too many to name here, actually. Trade the farm for a big boat. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sell the farm and buy a boat, so... I manage a boat in Southwest Florida. The insurance company wanted us to pull it. Problem is there's limited room in marinas in the area. Yeah, it's getting to be a problem. The marinas are just swamped, and there's no room for boats anymore in a lot of them. So, there's still boats moored. I know, home place, it's crazy. There's still a lot of people just on an anchor someplace. So, no, that's not Lily's blankie. 34 in northern Minnesota. There you go. Hey, Carla. Shall we nuke North Korea? No. Hey, Grandpa, are we batting down the hatches here in Florida? Wish you could find fuel. Oh, Amanda's Garden. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I understand fuel is a problem. I saw a video clip of people standing in line trying to buy water in South Florida. Water and batteries and stuff. So, Kyle's going to be 100, huh? Wow. Okay, Tactic 9, you're out of here. Goodbye, sir. After Irma, there'll be lots of boats for sale. Yeah, there will be. But it's over now. Some of the videos I've posted now on YouTube from St. Martin are pretty awful flooding and devastation. Yeah, they really are. You and Bob had a good run. Okay. I agree, Kyle. We shall... Terminal cam at the back of it. Okay. What's the going rate for acres in your area? Bob, I am selling my property at $2,500 an acre. I had some guy talking to me this week and wanted to buy property at $1,800 an acre. You can't find anything up here at that price. Even the large tracts of lands are selling at $2,500 an acre. Smaller tracts are running for anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000 to $8,000 an acre, depending on the size of the lot. You get down closer in the Wasilla, and they're selling 1 acre building lots in that $35,000 to $40,000 range. So I'm looking at those videos too. Yeah, it's just the whole thing is just horrible. We bottled up our own water, just have a problem with fuel shortage. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Amanda's. Still around 116 through the day with obscene humidity. Yeah. Seen a new sailing couple sailing Samantha. Nice folks. No, I haven't seen them. Samantha, huh? I'll make a note of that. I try to stay up on all of them, but sometimes I am remiss. So they might be for sale. You need to have to pay to have it moved back to the ocean. Do you know you're the main problem that has caused Obamacare? Okay, Donald, let's not have politics on here. This is your first and final warning. If you're going to continue talking the politics stuff, then we're gonna, this is a sailing channel. We're gonna dump you out. Get the duck out. Bounce the Donald. Everybody wants me to bounce the Donald. We'll give him one chance, and then. Okay, so apparently gaming people like to be vulgar and be problematic, so they're gone. Yeah, bye. A lot of new liveaboard sailing channels. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with them sometimes. There's quite a few of them. Oh. Okay, Donald, I'm putting you in timeout. We don't like to tax on other people. Anyone seen the sailing Kuna sailing expeditions? Huh. Think I've watched some of that. That's not new, I don't believe. I think that's old, Simon, if I remember correctly. Think I've watched that in the past, but nothing really recent, so. Can't seem to get my YouTube search to work. Searching for Sailing Samantha, huh? They won't last. It's a big change and a costly one. It's a big change. What are you talking about, Harley Hub? They won't last. It's a big change and a costly cub. On dos Rhine Sweet. Okay, you guys are getting a little weird on me here now. So, anyhow, I wanted to bring to you guys' attention the links that I shared with you so you guys can track it and see what's going on. I don't know, Partenos 18. I don't know. I'm not trying to buy a boat up here in Alaska. They're just too expensive up here. So it all depends on where I buy my boat at. So, yeah, it seems like we're getting a lot of trolls today. But, you know, that's just comes with the territory, I'm afraid. So, economy, anything to do with how many new channels here? I'm sure there is, Kyle. You know, a lot of people go sailing because they're, for whatever reason, you know, disenfranchised with their own life, and they think, you know, it's something better for them to do, but it's not necessarily the case. You know, you go sailing, you're just going to end up with more and different problems. So, Steve, I am planning on coming to Greece. One of the places I really look forward to sailing is down there in the Greek Isles, so. King of Chuck, yes. The guy that Bob, that owned the cat, his name is, if I remember correctly, it's Robert Kincaid. And I believe he is on YouTube. You can look up his channel. I think it's Robert, and the channel I think is just in his name. I think it's just Robert Kincaid. Or yeah, search for Sailing Doodles and you might be able to find him that way. So, he has a couple of vids. Throw the trolls overboard and listen to them scream. Grizz, you're something else. Yeah, Greece is definitely on. I want to go there and get some souvlaki. It's Jim something. Not. Oh, yes, yes, you're right. You're right. You know what? Let me tell you what. I could probably find it here in just a second. Let me pull it up. I think you're right. I think it was like Jim Kincaid or something like that. Let me check my Jim Hankins. There we go. That's the channel, Jim Hankins. I had that wrong. Doot, doot, doot. And here you go. Yep, there you go, Jim Hankins. There you go. Tanner, me too, man. I can't wait to get on a boat myself. You know, Doc, I've not built a boat myself. I've kind of, sanded some wood for another fellow that was building one once. And it's a lot of work and a lot of specialized knowledge. Building boats is not easy, especially from scratch. So I think many look at the Delos and Lavagas and see sailing channels as a way to make money. Only the very best can even come close to breaking even. Yeah, Don, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. A lot of people think that, oh, well, we can do that. It's not that easy, folks. It's really not that easy. Just let it be. Bob seems to want to just move on. I agree, Kyle. We need to just move on. Everybody, what's happened in the past is the past. Life only moves in one direction, guys, and that's forward. And that's the direction we try to go, is just forward. So, but I still like to promote everybody that has a sailing channel on YouTube. I'm not going to not promote somebody because of some problem we had with somebody else on here. I think, that Jim fella has some stuff that he's doing on his videos that I thought was interesting, and so it's worth watching. But they're pretty hard to watch, huh, Chris? Okay. As a youngster, I worked on two from the keel up. Well, that's pretty cool. Dusseldorf and Dortmund, how about a meetup and kill a couple blondes while watching Grandpa's live stream? Okay. By the way, guys, he's not talking about women. He's talking about blondes as being a type of beer. Just for those of you that aren't accustomed to what people do over in Europe. It's a little different. Dick, you got to be careful about that. The American people think you're going to go out and kill a couple women when you say kill a couple blondes. They don't understand that blonde beer versus dark beer stuff. All of our beer over here in America is blonde. It's what we're accustomed to, so place at the shore catfish, buy a boat and get out. Absolutely. Hey, Chuck Nardone, how you doing? What do you think about Indian people or culture? I think Indian people or culture are just fine. They're very interesting, very colorful. I think that's fine. So I have an old man back scratcher too. Yeah, man, you got to scratch your back. I don't have anybody else here to do it for me. So blondes are blonde women in the UK. That's exactly what I was thinking. Women, not beer. Yes. Most of our peeps in the States are soft. Yes, they are. Be a plywood, 2x4 sticking out of it with a pirate flag. There you go. Yeah, Chuck, I agree. This Irma, she's a nasty lady. Irma's a nasty lady, and you know what? She really wants to kill. She's in no mood for any humor. She just wants to kill, so. Well, yes, Harley Hub, I know American beer has changed, but still, we tend to like light beers. You don't see a lot of Americans drinking stouts, and you go in the beer store, there'll be 10,000 cans of light beer and a dozen or so dark. So, where's Carl and Jenny recovering from? Yeah, probably recovering from their celebration. It was their honeymoon, so. And they're kind of in the same stage that I'm in. I mean, they're in the process of selling their house. They're a little bit ahead of me, and they already have a buyer, but we'll see. So, I'm glad you have generator and good insurance. Excellent. Any offers on the farm? No, no offers on the farm yet. Have people looking, kicking tires, that kind of stuff, but no one buying. So, Adventures of an Old Sea Dog is safe. Places like Barbuda, Antigua, and the Virgin Islands have been hit hard. Picture St. Martin yachts piled up on the beaches, lots of devastation. Yeah, David, it's a disaster. Yeah, see, the Old Sea Dog's a perfect example. Okay, you're going to be over in the Caribbean during hurricane season, you go south. Yeah, Selling Sophisticated Lady, he's all the way south in Grenada. I mean, he's kind of at the very south end of the Caribbean, even in the hurricane area. And he moved his boat up into the mangroves for extra protection. But he's way south of this storm. So, what do you want to say to people that is an aesthetic? I didn't really want to say anything. I'm at work, better to go back. Love the channel, can't wait. Hey, Jared, you take care. That was his post on Facebook. Okay, craft beer is the only way to go. Broken Skull IPA, the only beer I drink. All right, Keith. Put out, doesn't seem like he'll be hit. No, Selling Sophisticated Lady is smart. He headed south. Everyone was wondering why he wasn't in his normal sailing grounds. It's because he's smart enough to move his boat south into the South Caribbean and down onto the coast of Central America or South America to get away from the hurricanes. So, Old Sea Dog, Rand Sailing, all these guys, they move their boats way south to get out of the hurricane area. So, yeah, Maui, I don't have, hey, I know what I'm going to do. Maui, I don't have any moderators, so guess what? You've just been drafted. So you can go and whack people as they need to be whacked. About storms when we get a boat. I told her we just move, no worries. Exactly, Buccaneer. The best way to deal with storms is don't be where storms are. Storms happen in certain parts of the planet at certain times of the year. Okay? As land dwellers, we plan a house and we stay there in one spot. But as a general rule, we tend to move boats around and get away from storms. Techline, I don't have a favorite cricket player. We're talking about sailing here, so please try not to be distracting. Follow along with what we're talking about if you would, and we'll call that your first warning, okay? Put the boat on the hard and went home for a few weeks. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he put the boat on the hard far enough south that he was pretty much out of the hurricane belt. So, Kyle, I appreciate that. If we run into problems, I'll add you as a mod too, but I try to keep that to a pretty minimum group. Maui Lay is a good friend I've known for a long time now. So Steve can handle it, but if we need a second one, I'll certainly bring you in there. So, wrench is scaring me. Yeah, Grizz has a bad habit of being whacked on a regular basis. For a long time there, every time I was on a chat, Grizz and I participated with a lot of chats in the homesteading genre. And every time Grizz would get on any of those chats, he'd get whacked for saying stuff that was inappropriate. But Grizz is a great old character. He's a friend of mine from Oregon. He's a good guy. So, family friend lost his first built boat on his honeymoon cruise during a counter hurricane back in the 60s. I don't remember the storm's name. Just his justification to build a second. Oh, that's sad. Sorry to hear that, Doc. Wow. But Grizz loves catch, yep. Rand is back in the Caribbean. Yeah, but in the Southern Caribbean. He's well away from the storms. So, yeah, Grizz, you definitely have the record. I've never known anybody to get whacked as many times as you'd have, so. And, you know, Grizz, you'll find this funny, but Rhonda's actually mad at me, Cheshire Canary, because on Bob's live stream, I moderated for Bob, and on Bob's live stream, I timed her out, and she took great offense to that. She didn't think it was funny at all. Probably why she's not on here today. She's mad at me, so she doesn't have a great sense of humor, apparently. I thought it was hysterical, but Grizz has chat PTSD. Maybe so. Yes, Rand is in the ABCs. And see, now the ABCs, for those of you, are Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Those islands are at the very south part of the Caribbean and are generally considered to be safe from hurricane season. Hey, Steve, man, thank you, Maui-Lei. I appreciate that, dude. That was awesome of you. Thank you very much. It'll go to good use as we're boat prepping here and getting ready to go. So, anyhow, guys, look, we've killed off a perfectly good hour. We had some conversation with Irma. I'm sure all of us is now going to go and check out all the links that we put on here and go watch Irma and see what's going on. I'll be doing my live stream again on Sunday, so be sure to check that out if you get an opportunity. I'd certainly love to see you guys there. In the meantime, please do like and subscribe, and we'll check you guys out later. So let me just check, make sure we got everything on the chat. Yeah, and if you guys would, please give us a thumbs up and a like. We would certainly appreciate it. Okay, we're going to talk to you guys later. You guys take care now. Be safe out there. Bye.